First part of this is something that I think all of you need to really understand about the world we're in. It's called goodbye to linear thinking. So let's kick this off. So the human race evolved over the last 150,000 years. And if you think about the conditions under which your brain has evolved as a human, the world that we lived in 100,000 years ago, 150,000 years ago, even 20,000 years ago, was what I call local and linear. What that means is that everything that happened that affected your life happened within a day's walk. When something happened on the other side of the planet, you didn't know about it, you didn't care about it. And it didn't matter. You lived in a local world. And it was a linear world, meaning that the life of your great-great-grandparents, your life and your children's life and their children's life didn't change generation to generation. Everything was the same. Fast forward to today. We're living in a world today that's exponential and global. Something happens in China, Korea, Japan, it affects us a minute later. Exponential, the life of your grandparents and your parents and you and your children is changing at such a rate that it's inconceivable for people to understand what life would be like a generation from now. Very different thing, but remember, your brain evolved to understand local and linear, but the world today is exponential and global. And you have to remember that your innate reactions and thinking, because of the design of your brain, is local and linear. What does that mean? On this curve, you see a red line, and that red line is linear. It's the way that we as humans think and react. We make linear projections. I'll come to this in a second. But the yellow line is the exponential technical world we're living in. And because of the difference there, the stress between the rapid growth of companies and our inability to predict where these things are going causes disruptive stress. What does that mean? Billion-dollar companies go out of business overnight. From publishing to record to print to digital film or to film, no matter what it is. And billion-dollar companies come out of no place. Literally, you're going from zero to YouTube being sold for $1.6 billion to Google in 18 months, or $0 to $6 billion offer on Groupon in under 2 years. Extraordinary creative energy. Never before have we seen these kind of velocities. And what's driving that is a series of exponential technologies, technologies that are changing our world and giving you as individuals the power to do what only governments or large corporations could do before. Today, you or a small group of folks can affect 1 billion people if you so desire. Never before have we had this kind of power. So what are those technologies? AI, robotics, 3D printing, molecular genetics, nanomaterials, quantum computing, ubiquitous sensors. These are fields that are growing, doubling on orders of timescales of months to a year or two. So underpinning all of this is something called Moore's Law, which hopefully you all have heard about. It's the concept that a computer doubles in its processing speed every roughly year to 18 months. And if you remember nothing out of this presentation, look at this graph. On the left side is a log curve. On the bottom is a 100-year timeline. Now, an exponential function where things are doubling, typically an exponential curve, on a log curve is a straight line. The fact that this is curving upwards means that the speed at which things are growing exponentially is itself growing exponentially. So if you feel like things are getting faster in your life, they are. The other thing is, these are historic points of the speed of a computer for the average $1,000 laptop. And what's important to note is that over the last 100 years, this curve has been relatively smooth through wars, through peacetime, through great times, recessions, and depressions. This curve is generated by faster computers building faster computers, independent of what's going on in the world. The reason I point that out is if you believe it's been pretty consistent, the question is, will it be continuing in this way? And if you believe the curve is likely to continue, which I do, and this has been, generation after generation of technologies going from literally a relay to a vacuum tube to a transistor to integrated circuits, now going to three-dimensional integrated circuits. If you project it forward, what does that mean?